broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing after-shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Raw After Show. We open on a somber note. Francesca is gone, and there will be no encore. I'm Cathy Kelley, and joining me tonight, Ty Matthews.
How you doing, Cathy?
Not well, obviously. Why would you ask me that?
It's a dark day. It's a dark day, but you know, Francesca's in our hearts. We can get through this. She would want us to continue.
And Johnny's gone. Okay. So Raw comes tonight from Columbus, Ohio.
Man.
Enough mourning. We have to get on to the show.
We gotta get right to it.
We only have an hour.
It's just two of us, though.
I'm gonna hold it
just two
together.
of us. We're tag teaming it tonight, y'all.
Yeah.
We got this.
Thank you for being by my
We
side.
got this.
We do.
Cathy, I'll be your rock. It's fine.
Thank you. The Rock?
You'll
be the Rock?
I'll be your Dwayne Johnson.
Oh,
sure.
you look more like Daniel Bryan in your lumberjack outfit. But
you know, I'll take it.
we kick off Raw tonight in Columbus, Ohio with actually a tribute for Martin Luther King Day.
Mm-hmm.
And then this goes into the go-home Raw before Royal Rumble. Maybe the most anticipated Rumble in years between having the title on the line and so many recent rumored entrants.
Mm-hmm.
We're not really sure who we might see from other companies come in.
It's not only it's high stakes. It's potential surprises.
Exactly.
It's potential returns. It's so many credible threats. So many people that you could buy as potentially winning the Rumble and winning the championship.
And even Jericho thinks he'll win, which we'll talk about later in the show.
Hilarious.
Yeah. So we get started off with a recap of last week's Raw. Roman, of course, had to fight in a 1 versus all match. And then Lesnar, who must participate in the Royal Rumble, came out, suplexed and F5'd pretty much everybody. Tonight, Roman comes out to kick off Raw, and he says Sunday will be the fight of his life to retain the title in the Rumble. He's ready to finish what Lesnar started last week right now, but instead of Lesnar's music, Jericho's music hits.
Yep.
Chris Jericho comes out for Highlight Reel Part 1 in a blazer, sans shirt.
Shirt, which is a bold choice, you know?
Yeah.
It was a bold choice by the funnest of dads.
I was going to say I got so many fun dad tweets that I had to do a hashtag fun dad just for that.
It was great. It was great stuff. It was, at the very least, it was unexpected. Out of anyone's music that was clearly about to hit, was not expecting it to be Jericho.
The shirtless part was unexpected, or just him being there was unexpected?
Both?
Okay.
Shirtless might have been even less expected.
The shirtless thing I wouldn't put past him, and I got even more tweets later in the night when he was talking about how he's stuck in 1999.
Yeah. It's
great.
Deep stuff.
It's so great. So during this segment, Sheamus and the League of Nations come out, and they're offended that they weren't invited on to talk about the Rumble. Jericho says, however, his best line of the night was, Alberto Del Rio is Spanish for jackass, so just throwing in one of those in the first hour.
I will say that Sheamus's line about "Where's your shirt? Did you eat it?" was just dumb enough that it made me laugh so hard.
There were so many dumb things
Like,
from
it was
what,
so
what
straight up
Sheamus
and
said
dumb.
to what Rusev said. Rusev says,
You got
It used to be a Royal Rumble every day in Bulgaria. Used to throw kids off the bus just so I could get to school.
Yeah. That's the Bulgarian version of walking uphill in the snow to school.
Yeah.
You had to throw all the other kids off the bus.
And the stakes aren't just high in Royal Rumbles. In the Royal Rumble match on Sunday, they were high for him when he used to have to fight other kids just to get a steak.
Oh, man.
He did that one, too.
We're starting this so early.
Yes. And then no, I didn't do that. That was him.
Was that him?
Rusev loves puns, too. It's a fact.
All right.
It's a fact. So, anyways, Rusev shouts out to Jericho that he's stupid and back and forth. That was great.
You know, lots of clever stuff getting thrown around.
But Jericho reminds everyone in the building and watching at home that Roman is the Rumble winner from last year, and the person he eliminated to do so was Rusev.
Oh, Ruru. Leave the memories alone.
Yeah.
It's too soon, Chris. Come on.
It's a year ago.
Come on. It's too soon.
Okay.
But as we found out from that nifty video package that they would show us later on, which is always my favorite part of Rumble season, if Roman Reigns does achieve the impossible and win his second back-to-back Royal Rumble, it'll be the first time that's happened in 18 years.
Wow.
Since Stone Cold Steve Austin.
And this is already, regardless of him doing that, is making history because it is the first time that the title is on the line and it's not vacant at the time.
Sure, yeah.
So, pretty intense. This segment goes on. Roman says he's not facing Lesnar until later, so he can face Rusev right now. Jericho announces that the match is on and he is the guest referee.
And apparently everyone listened.
I was
and
like,
it was
wait,
a thing that happened.
Is Jericho also the GM now,
Why didn't, if anyone, so he makes himself the referee, he makes the match, why didn't at least the timekeeper go like, screw you, guy, I'm not ringing the bell on your fake-ass authority?
I mean, if I was the timekeeper, I wouldn't want to stand up to any of the wrestlers, so maybe that was his train of thought, but Steph did talk about it later in the evening,
Right,
which
you got to think,
we'll
if he rings the bell on an unsanctioned match, Steph might fire his ass. Maybe he doesn't want that.
I mean, I think she's more likely to fire Jericho than the bell ringer.
I don't know. If she wanted to do that, I feel like she would have done that a long time ago. Maybe back in 1999 when he was calling her a filthy, brutal, disgusting, bottom-feeding, you know.
It seemed more loving than that. I don't know. Maybe I took it the wrong way. But during the commercial break, Jericho stole a shirt from one of the refs, got in the ring, and the match begun. Rusev versus Roman Reigns, the first match of the evening. League of Nations was looking on, Sheamus, Barrett, and Del Rio. Towards the end of the match, Rusev is about to go at Jericho because Jericho's just half cartwheeling all over the ring. He's just so happy to be there.
Straight up Chris Farley cartwheels.
Yeah.
I was pretty excited.
I mean, my cartwheel's not that much better, so I can't really like get mad at him. But Roman pulls out the Superman punch for the win. What do you think of this match?
I'm always down for Roman and Rusev. I think one of Roman's obvious biggest strengths is when he's in there and he's able to beat the holy hell out of another guy that's willing to hit hard and be hit hard. And
looking tough with willing to take on not just Lesnar that night, but Rusev as well.
Sure. And then not only that, but we got some good comedy out of Jericho ejecting the League of Nations one by one. Yeah. Which was great stuff.
He is just a fun dad.
He's the funnest of daddists.
So after this match ends, we go backstage. Jericho getting yelled at by Steph. She says Raw is not Jericho. It's not 1999. And basically don't cross her again.
Right. And it's the same thing that we've seen where Steph is allowed to get the last word on every single person that ever crosses her path.
Well, she should because she's...
No, I actually disagree. I don't think she should. I think she's the number one. She's the only heel on the roster that never gets any sort of comeuppance for just completely emasculating every single other man that's on the show.
Well, don't they know that if they do try to go after her, she could just fire them?
But I mean, in terms of like every single other authority figure can get their comeuppance. Even Vince McMahon got punched in his face. Steph gets nothing in retaliation, and it makes every single other man on the roster look like less of a man.
I mean, Roman Reigns threw her dad into her, and then she fell off the apron.
That's the most anyone's done to her in years.
But that's pretty big.
I know it's big, but what I mean is she's emasculating every single other person on the roster, and it doesn't help. It doesn't help a thing. Yeah. Because they can't get her back. They can't hit her.
No.
No? Yeah, I'm sick of her getting the last word on everybody, just being the ultimate trump card.
I'm not, because that just solidifies her role as the boss.
I think that solidifies her as the person that's behind the scenes saying like, all right, and make sure I get the last word. That's what that solidifies to me.
I disagree.
Moving on, we have some returns. Brie Bella versus Nattie. Natalya is back. Brie, of course, is accompanied to the ring by Alicia Fox. And Nattie comes out to the ring. I mean, this is her first time back in months because she had a broken ankle. But she is accompanied by Paige, who is also on injury. So many injuries right now. Right.
We have Nikki is out with a neck injury, which they didn't show her tonight, even though I heard she was backstage. Nattie finally coming back after her ankle injury, and then Paige, I think, has a minor concussion.
Right. So not quite as severe as some of the other ones, luckily, but still enough to...
Well, I saw a lot of people tweeting tonight that they don't know how to book certain girls, but they're out, and they just brought them back for the promoting Total Divas on the show. Right.
Because... And my feelings are mixed on this segment.
Okay.
Because for as much as I was kind of not necessarily confused, but I was annoyed at the fact that Nattie and Paige are all of a sudden this alliance just because of Total Divas, you know? Yeah. But at the same time, I can appreciate that they're trying to create this sort of continuity and this sort of canon and this singularity. And so I can't really complain about that if I'm complaining about them not making NXT canon, you know? Because that's another thing that bothers me, is that they sort of exist in these separate universes where I'd like to see them tell, continuous stories. So that being said, I can't really say too much about this sudden partnership.
It's just hard because I think that they are telling real stories that occur on the road, but it's shown months after the fact.
Exactly.
So you have to revisit those stories while you're doing Raw and not taping Total Divas, even though it's already been taped.
Right. And ironically, when you're talking about the world of wrestling, Total Divas does, just like wrestling, exist in this sort of heightened reality. And so while you are telling...
That's any reality show.
Exactly. But I mean, it's also wrestling. So while you are telling true-ish stories, they're being told on this sort of elevated plane. So it's an interesting medium, one that I have yet to experience, but I'll have to start soon, I'm sure.
I have.
I know you're...
What?
Experience.
Been on reality shows and also been a fan of them.
And even just seen Total Divas.
Yeah. Well, I love the show. I'm actually really excited for it to come back tomorrow. I did an interview with Nikki and Brie this past week at NBC Universal's press day, so that was really fun.
I heard you talking about it earlier with Jimbo. Name dropping Swagsuke.
What?
Name dropping Swagsuke.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so excited. Can we please just clear Dana Bryan so that match can happen?
That's what I asked her. I asked when, point blank, I was like, so when is Dana Bryan coming back for that match specifically?
Right.
But if you guys want to watch it, check out that out on AfterBuzz's YouTube page. Just search and you'll find it. It's one of the most recent videos uploaded. But back to this match, Nattie makes Brie tap pretty quickly with a sharpshooter.
Yeah, real quick.
Really short match, but definitely good to see her back and in good health. After this, the Wyatt family comes out, recap their feud with the Dudley Boys, then recap their feud with Ryback, and this becomes a 6-man tag.
Let's throw them together.
Yeah, because we've never seen that before, so it's super new. Bubba Ray and Devon with Ryback versus the Wyatt family. Wyatt's end up winning this one. Harper pulls out a clothesline.
Discus lariat is the best. Might be my favorite finish on the roster.
Really?
Oh, that between
why so?
His big boot and the discus lariat, just the rotation and the impact that he hits with it. I mean, not to.
It sounds awful.
Exactly. Not to drift into other companies, but it's the same as like when Brian Cage does it. I recently got to attend my first Lucha Underground tapings, which were amazing.
Yeah.
And just seeing Cage hit that lariat on people is a thing of beauty.
I mean, he's ginormous, so even if he were to poke someone, they would just fall over.
Just explode.
Anyways.
But Luke Harper is similarly gigantic. I mean, in a different way, but also a huge person. So when he gets that rotation and he just hits that impact, it's ridiculous. I liked what JBL called it. He called it a combination of Kerry Von Erich's discus punch combined with his own lariat. Okay. Which I thought was an interesting
way
visual.
To phrase it. Yeah,
exactly.
After this match, we have the hashtag social outcasts making their way to the ring, and they say that they will be trending on Sunday at the Royal Rumble. And then I wrote down, wah, 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 awkward, amazing ensues.
And then not only that, I love that, like, the story being told is that they cannot get on the same page.
It's great because like Adam Rose was talking about how he was gonna ride the magic carpet into Royal Rumble and that he couldn't touch the ground because the magic carpet would save his feet.
With Aladdin's magic carpet underneath his feet would never touch the floor, and thus he would never be eliminated.
Know what he needs? He needs the rosebuds back so that if he falls over if he goes over the top rope, they just catch him like a freaking. I'm so excited that I'm spilling my water everywhere. They catch him like in a stage dive.
Exactly. And then Curtis Axel chimes in and reminds everyone that he was never eliminated from last year's Royal Rumble.
Yeah, no one forgot that.
Never eliminated.
He will never, ever let anyone forget.
Absolutely not.
But yeah, I love that they're all on different pages with this. They did, however, have a shirt. And that is huge. Now they have their graphic behind them. Mm-hmm. They have some music. And they have a shirt. So they are officially socially awkward.
Almost like a Beatles-ish sort of like Let It Be sort of shirt with their
So then they need to cross Abbey Road, but all at different times.
Exactly.
Like one of them is blinking in a picture, and then another one is like turned the opposite way.
I like that.
That'd be great.
Does anybody think that Curtis Axel is going to get not eliminated this year again as well? To keep
I hope not. I think they might do a thing where he sneaks. They might. Or do you remember when Santino was sort of the last one in the ring and no one expected it when he almost eliminated Del Rio?
Yeah.
They might do something similar where one of the expected guys is about to win it and you see just Curtis Axel pop up from behind.
Or he's not eliminated because they never add him in as one of the 30 people. They just like run out of entrance spots and they're like, it's like 30 goes out and he's like, wait.
They just keep cutting to him backstage like every time.
Ready to go. Like he hears like,
it's my time. Come on.
It's like 3, 2. And then someone else.
And then someone just pushes. AJ Styles pushes in front of him.
This is great booking. At least entertaining for us. I hope you guys at home are following along. But anyways, this match, the Big Show versus Social Outcasts.
Versus Heath Slater.
Well, yeah, okay. But it ends up being the entirety of the Social Outcasts. And Big Show just takes everyone out, annihilates everyone.
Everyone except
Bo Dallas. He believes he has the upper hand and gets a little bit cocky, does a victory lap around the ring.
Him screaming, I'm okay, I'm alive.
Victory laps right into a Big Show's fist.
Yep.
So.
It's phenomenal. Always fun stuff.
Phenomenal.
From Doug. Hate everything about you.
Sorry. This is, great comedy match.
Absolutely,
for sure.
Yeah, and I can't wait for them to inevitably interact with the New Day.
Do you think that Big Show will have a long run in the Royal Rumble? Do you think that any of these guys from Social Outcast will have a long run, or no run, like a very short 1 second run?
I don't think any of the Social Outcasts will have like a Santino like 1 second run.
Yeah.
I think Big Show will last a little while, or he might make his entrance, and then all 4 social outcasts team up to eliminate him. Which I would love to see.
Although they can't get on the same page, so they don't do it.
Right.
It's like one person lifts a leg, and then they're like, no, on 3, and then another person lifts another.
1, 2, 3, go, or 1, 2, 3.
It's great. There's so many ways that they could do this.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited.
But people are already betting on the Royal Rumble, and I don't know if you have your bets placed. I don't know. James Frank was asking me before the show while we were watching who I think will be the first. Now we know who the first entrant is,
we'll
but
get to that.
will be number 30. All of these things, and people are already betting, but. Speaking of betting, we have to take a minute to talk about DraftKings because we bring the show to you guys for free, and one way that we can do that is through our sponsors. This week, it's DraftKings, and I'm afraid we've got some bad news for football fans.
Look at you.
The playoffs are underway, and that means the season is almost over, unfortunately, and another long, dark offseason awaits. Well, DraftKings.com is here to the rescue. Thankfully, they have fantasy football contests through the conference championship games. You could still play to win cash prizes this weekend and head into the offseason as a fantasy football champion. Well, you won't get a belt for it. You do get some money and bragging rights. This isn't fantasy as usual. This is DraftKings. Welcome to the big time. Hurry to DraftKings.com right now. Enter the promo code BUZZ, that's B-U-Z-Z, and play for free with your first deposit. You can take home the top prize along with a lifetime of bragging rights. Pretty cool.
Everyone loves bragging rights.
I mean, I do.
Remember that pay-per-view?
Yep. I don't.
Do you not?
Was that too long ago?
No, that was like 5 years ago.
Well, they only did it twice.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
I watched.
Back when, come on, Cathy.
It's on the network. I'll watch it.
There you go.
Okay.
They had nifty red and blue shirts.
What?
It's back when Raw and SmackDown were separate rosters.
Tell me all the things I don't know. I'm excited.
Well,
how much time do we have? Mark? No?
Just skip it, please.
Oh, okay. Anywho.
Let's talk more about bragging rights, guys. Let's talk about old pay-per-views. Backlash 99, anyone?
We're surprised we're actually announcing our bragging rights after show. It's going to be 2 episodes long. I hope you all tune in.
I like
Who's
it.
on the panel?
I like it.
It's
just you. It's just
Ty
you.
Matthews and Ty Matthews and Ty Matthews.
It's just me going.
And I'll watch.
Solo.
I'll be in chat roll.
There you go.
Wow, Ty doesn't know anything. Why isn't he paying attention? Chat.
I like talks about a cupcake.
I love you guys. Thanks for watching. So backstage, Steph with the League of Nations, and Steph gives him a pep talk. She says, "Why would you let Chris Jericho scare you guys away?" They say, "We are not scared of anybody." Steph says, "Prove it."
And that's that.
That is
and
that.
It takes. I feel like it takes a while for that to pay off. When it finally does, we're like, oh yeah.
Not a while. It'll take 6 days until Sunday.
No, I mean till the end of the show.
Oh. Oh.
And then I think by that time everyone had forgotten about this segment.
Me too. I didn't. I'm just kidding. So Steph and Mr. McMahon make their way to the ring to the ramp.
To the stage. Yeah.
For the Royal Rumble announcement. They are going to pick the number 1 spot from their little tourney thing.
A little tumbler.
Yeah. Make a little Powerball reference.
That is
for all the people that didn't win.
It's like you said. That's super
Dagger.
timely.
Into the heart. They twisted it.
And I feel like Vince didn't know that it was already that the Powerball was already up for it.
I mean, I
someone had
definitely
won.
think he knew.
He said that the chances of Roman Reigns winning are the same as your guys' chances of winning the Powerball.
I mean, anyone who's
like,
upset at losing $2 that they gambled with,
no, I just feel like that would have been more timely last week.
Maybe.
When the jackpot hadn't been given away yet.
Yeah. But I really enjoy seeing him on the show. I think that he adds a new element, and with Triple H being gone,
right.
Who knows when we'll see him? Will it be a year or will it be 6 days?
Maybe he enters the Rumble. I don't know. But it is, I agree, it is very, very entertaining to see Vince on the show, especially with how hard of a time he was having with those little plastic balls.
Yeah.
was having a rough time.
Harder than when he got arrested.
Right. It was tough with that. Steph even throws in a McMahon's Millions joke.
Yeah.
Which was great.
Quick thinking. So the number one spot goes to Roman Reigns. Dun, dun. But they're like, let's just pick again.
All right, you know what?
So,
that may have been a fluke.
We'll do this again,
Sure.
and this time Vince won't pick a ball, put it back in, and then pick another ball.
No.
He does that again, but it's still Roman Reigns.
Is that louder?
Dun, dun. So they're like, wow, this is crazy. Steph, did you put that ball back in the twirly thing? No. Let's
just to make sure. So everyone knows this is on the up and up.
One more time.
Try it again.
Spin it. They do a spin-a-rooney. Nope, not a spin-a-rooney. They spin it, and it is Roman Reigns. Dun, dun. Wow.
Oh man, who would have thunk it?
The odds are in his favor, but not in a good way.
Nope.
And I don't think anyone is volunteering as tribute for the number one spot. So, unfortunately,
when we did see the New Day, they threw up a little.
Yeah.
Look at that! It all comes full circle, guys.
It's the Hunger Games. That's what it is. Royal Rumble is the Hunger Games, and Roman Reigns is Katniss Everdeen.
Sure, he's the girl on fire.
No, that's Becky Lynch.
That's Becky Lynch, exactly.
Speaking of which, let's talk about this match. Tamina versus
what a segue.
Becky Lynch.
What a segue. Yes!
She's so great.
Love it.
So, of course, we know that Becky Lynch and Charlotte have had a falling out over the last few weeks.
You could say that.
They recap Becky on SmackDown saying that she will take on Charlotte, she will take on her dad, she will take on her mom, she will take on her entire family.
Whole clan.
She will take on the entire Flair clan. Well, during this match, Charlotte is on ringside with Ric Flair in tow.
Mm-hmm.
And Becky, the submission specialist,
Sure.
as she has coined herself, makes Tamina tap with an armbar, but it was interesting. I don't know if you want to explain how this happened.
So basically, the story that they told with this match was great because it was just a story of Becky's pure experience and technical skill versus Tamina's size and strength and power advantages. At the end of the match, we see Becky Lynch sitting on the top rope. She grabs Tamina's arm, straddles her shoulder. Tamina even takes a few steps, holding Becky up in the air on one shoulder,
showing her strength
which
as
was
well.
an impressive sight. Becky almost does a victory roll to Tamina's left arm, rolls through, beautiful transition right into the disarmer, and taps Tamina Snuka out.
It was beautiful.
Just a thing of beauty. It absolutely was.
And from technical skills to mic skills, she has got them all, and that is why she is the girl on fire tonight. Becky just gets on the mic, and she says that nothing would mean more to her than winning the match at Royal Rumble against Charlotte, but everyone wants it to be a Divas title match, including her. Unfortunately, Charlotte says, no, you already had your shot at that, and you lost, to which Becky just rhymes herself into this
was a
infamy.
killer
Rhymes
promo.
herself into infamy.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
good. I mean, this is
her own version of Ric Flair's kiss stealing, wheeling dealing, blah blah blah. But
it shows her passion. It shows this is the Becky Lynch that I think everyone fell in love with at NXT, and
Definitely.
I'm glad that when the three of the four horsewomen came up to the main roster, she was a little bit overshadowed by Charlotte and Sasha, but this is really her time to shine, whether it's a couple of injuries or she just became more comfortable and confident in who she is. It's working, and I think that fans are really resonating with it.
Definitely, and I think it's a testament to her skill that she can cut a promo like this where she's taking Ric Flair's signature promo and turning it on its head and making fun of it, but while still appearing passionate and appearing serious.
I mean, this is something that I can literally see little girls at home going into their mirror and like practicing
Definitely.
this. Like it's
and I think that's a skill that even Roman Reigns was lacking, the ability to take something funny and lighthearted but still appear serious and intense and passionate about it.
Well, to me, that's not something that the writers did for her, and maybe they did. I don't know that.
Right.
But it seems like from her passion, she came up with that.
And
like whether it's like on a travel day or when she's sitting at home doing laundry, I don't know what it is, but like that seems so genuinely her.
Right. And I think the fact that we believe that, whether or not it was written for her, I think is another testament. The fact that even if it was written for her, she was able to deliver it in such a way to make us think that it was her own idea.
Yeah.
But with that what I loved that drew is it draws a very knee-jerk, like, my father's a 2-time Hall of Famer, which was, I felt like, was Charlotte's version of Dorothy Mantooth is a saint. Like,
very good.
I feel like Charlotte's the Wes Mantooth to Becky's Ron Burgundy.
Yes. So Brian Rice in chat says he loves Becky as a lone wolf. Haywood Wong says Becky pun was solid. It seems like everyone was loving Becky tonight as well.
Sure.
After she cuts this mean-ass promo on Ric Flair and Charlotte, Rick says, yes, you can have a title match. Woo! And Charlotte's like, wait.
Hang on.
Dad?
Wait a minute. He says, you want a shot against the greatest of all time? She beat you twice. Third time's going to be a charm. You got it. And there's a phenomenal camera shot of Ric Flair so impassioned and so energetic on the mic. And you just see Charlotte's face over his shoulder going, hang on. Wait a minute.
Dad?
Let's talk for a second.
Also, how many general managers do we have tonight? First we had Jericho, now we've got Flair.
We've got Flair, exactly.
Well, they're not general at this point. It's just everyone's a manager.
Everyone's a manager.
General admission manager.
Generally, everyone's a manager.
Exactly. I mean, like, I love the authority being at the helm of everything, but I would love the days, like, I liked Vicky Guerrero as GM. I liked having that. I love William Regal being the GM of NXT. It's something that I think adds a layer to the
and
the
I mean,
show.
obviously, we do understand that wrestling wouldn't be able to go anywhere if people weren't allowed the chance to make matches on the spot. I feel like that's how most matches
they should petition for one. They should petition whoever the GM is.
Exactly.
And or they could say, earlier tonight I asked for this match and it was made official backstage, like, and then the people on commentary confirm it. Actually, yes, that did happen.
Right.
We're getting word from the back that match is a go.
Yeah, exactly. Even just the little things, yeah.
And I love that even though the match at the very beginning of the night that Jericho announced wasn't really official, it was addressed later on in the show that he didn't have the authority to do that.
Right, exactly.
Makes sense.
Sure.
Storytelling-wise.
Love it.
But that may be... yes, I'm excited for the Royal Rumble, but I'm really excited for that match, Becky versus Charlotte.
Absolutely. I think... Do we think that Becky's taking the title?
I want to say yes.
Right.
I really, really do, but I don't know.
Do you think they're going to make her chase it a little bit longer?
It could go either way. It really
Definitely.
could. And I don't see how, if she loses, unless it's so unjustly fair that someone else intervenes, like Steph or someone else, and says, no, Charlotte, you clearly cheated, and now she deserves a title match with no interference. Rick, you're in back.
Right, yeah. I think my initial reaction was that I think we're going to see a title win, but what I think, or at least what I'm hoping, is that they're maybe holding off so that Becky can get her Mania moment.
Well, I was thinking that if she does win, there's some sort of blow off at Fastlane where the title isn't on the line, and then they do have their Mania moment, and that is the match going into Mania, since I think Sasha might be on the injured list as well. I'm not 100% sure about that.
She's got a minor injury and isn't expected to be out long.
Yeah, so
she'll
not
at
out
least
long.
Hopefully be able to make Mania.
But it is worth it to start thinking about what is going to be the Divas title match going into Mania.
Right, sure.
I see Charlotte being one of the two women in that match.
Right.
For sure.
Mm-hmm. And that's, I think with the state of the Divas division, I've got to think that going into Mania, it'll be a big kind of scramble sort of match.
I mean, I want it to be a one-on-one, and maybe there are other people involved, and that's why I keep on going back to the match at NXT a really long time ago, Charlotte versus Natalya.
Right.
And they had Bret Hart and Ric Flair both there. And that was just such a moment that if they did that at Mania, that would be huge.
Definitely. Who knows? I mean, we could be so lucky as to see multiple Divas matches.
I would love that.
We could have a one-on-one and a multi-Diva match, so who knows?
That'd be great.
Mm-hmm. Maybe Ric Flair in Charlotte's corner, maybe Finn Balor in Becky's corner.
Okay. I could see that. So, moving on, we have a match between Ambrose and Kalisto versus Del Rio and Sheamus. Kevin Owens is sitting on commentary and is just the best.
I love that, like,
he's the best, worst guy in the world.
When Kevin Owens is on commentary, the commentary table just becomes everybody hates Byron. And just Byron, like, even for saying a single word, just gets shut down by everyone.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
He'll learn to dish it out, too. Still young.
Sure.
But, yeah, Owens is just, he's great at yelling at people on Twitter and even better at doing it in person.
Right.
But during this match, Sheamus and Del Rio end up getting the win and moving into the pay-per-view this Sunday.
Mm-hmm. And a solid combination of kicks. I mean, not to cut you off, but
Go for it.
I think that with, between the distraction that Kevin Owens provided, Del Rio hitting a nasty enziguri off the table to Dean Ambrose, setting up for Sheamus reversing the Salida del Sol into a nasty brogue kick. I'm just loving these just hard kicks. Just straight up, simple, hard kicks as finishers.
Yeah.
And also, Kalisto looked a lot like
Stiff
the Green Ranger tonight.
He did.
It was also that.
He did. I've been loving this, and I don't know whether it has to do with the Slammy Award that he won recently, or they're just now seeing his potential. But Kalisto in this, back and forth with Alberto Del Rio for the United States Championship, winning it unexpectedly and then losing it just as fast as he won it.
Right.
And now going into Sunday, they are facing each other again for the title.
Okay, yeah, and I think, and I mentioned this a little on the SmackDown after show last week, but I think that while a lot of people were disappointed and upset that Kalisto lost the title so quickly, I think it was sort of, I guess, just like a trial run, just to let everyone know and everyone believe, like, hey, look,
he's a contender.
He's good enough. Exactly. It's like, I likened it to when, way back when, there was a title match on Raw between Triple H and Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho won the title, or so everyone thought, in a bit of a dusty finish, and then Triple H forced the referee to restart the match and kind of won it back. But it served to make everyone believe, hey, this is a main event caliber guy that can win this title.
Yeah.
So I think the same thing's happening with Kalisto right now. And so I think we could see him become a 2-time champion within a matter of weeks at the Royal Rumble.
That would be great. Within a matador of weeks.
God.
Hate me.
Anyways.
That was really good, Kelley.
Don't you dare encourage her, Mark.
I have to.
Thanks, Mark.
You guys are the worst.
So sweet. So in addition to that matchup for the United States title, we also have Kevin Owens versus Dean Ambrose for the Intercontinental title on Sunday. But Luke Allister in chat says he would rather see KevinOwens versus Michael Cole.
I would absolutely love to see that.
That would be great.
But with this match being a last man standing match, I think we're going to really see some off the charts violence in this one.
As many times as these two have faced each other, I'm still excited for another match between them, because I think that every time they make it different, they go all out.
Right.
These are two guys that aren't afraid to put their bodies on the line.
Right, and
they're going to tell a story. They're going to tell a really good story.
Right, and I think this stipulation is designed to take that to even higher levels. And I think that normally I'm not a fan of last man standing matches, only because they always end in such gimmicky ways of someone having their feet taped to the ropes and literally unable to stand, which is like, yeah, all right, I get that it's technically last man standing, but like the referee, it should be at his discretion. He should know, like, okay, he hasn't been incapacitated, and that's the whole point.
Are you technically still standing if you're on a magic carpet?
This is true. This is true. They should talk to Adam Rose.
Okay.
And figure out where
that could be
magic
it's not
carpet
really
is.
that gimmicky.
It's true.
So maybe we could see that like play into it.
Right.
I don't know how.
So yeah, I think whatever it is, the end of this match is going to be something huge and barbaric and something they're going to have to show it in black and white on the
like
highlight
Kevin
reels.
Owens just rips off Dean Ambrose's feet.
Exactly.
Totally see that
so
happening.
he literally cannot stand. It'll be like a Mortal Kombat fatality.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yikes. This is where we
Guys, we started on a somber note.
yeah.
This is why.
And did you even get that pun? It's a somber note.
I'm the worst person. I hate myself right now. Yeah, we see
New Day funeral for Francesca. May she rest in pieces. But it's time to face the music. She is gone.
you are really just
And the New
hitting on
Day
all
is
cylinders tonight.
just crying.
Absolutely crushed.
They're looking good though. They're
I mean, just
in
dapper as hell.
their funeral clothes,
Mm-hmm.
their Sunday's best, but unfortunately, Monday Night Raw funeral. And Xavier Woods just cannot bear it. He doesn't want a new trombone, doesn't even want to hear the thought of it. But
Biggie reassures him. Biggie, his brother, in positivity, reassures him that Francesca's in our hearts.
And even though it is a sad moment, they let it all out with Chipotle E. coli poop joke, which was the highlight of Raw for me.
Not only do we get Big E quoting the great poet Jay-Z, but we get Xavier Woods announcing his plans to eat hella Chipotle and just
defecate
and just wreck
in Chris
Jericho's bathroom. And I've got to come clean as a hypocrite. If anyone else would have made this joke, I would probably be rolling my eyes. But since it was New Day, I kind of liked it.
It works.
Really, Ty? I figured you'd have a trombone to pick with that.
Yes, Mark. Yes, Mark. Yes, King Mark.
You're the worst.
I'm evil.
So
Fun King.
They end the segment with Francesca.
Want to tear up
some,
again.
Some sad claps.
Sad claps.
But then we get that nifty by the numbers video package
We do.
to bring our spirits back up.
Yeah, a little bit.
Always my favorite part of January of Rumble season. Remembering that Santino only lasted 1 second. Remembering that Rey Mysterio lasted for 62 minutes and 12 seconds.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then
But some new stats, like I said, that if Roman Reigns wins his second Royal Rumble, that it'll be the first time in almost 2 full decades that's happened.
yeah.
The last person to do that is the only person to have won 3 Royal Rumble matches. Just lots of fun numbers and stats and math. Get into numbers, guys, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. They throw out some math with if you pay for the pay-per-view, it's going to cost you X amount of dollars, but if you get the network, it's $9.99, which
Right.
will save you 40 something.
And I still
What?
don't understand why they're doing these promos with signs
So
when they could just make graphics.
so that Byron can Vanna White it, duh.
But why does JBL have one?
So that JBL can hold it. Because they're good. Yeah, I don't know. Ty, don't ask me these questions. Don't put me on the spot.
Yeah, but I remember if you get it for $9.99 and then it's $9.99, you have to pay for it. Sorry, just a callback.
I forgot about Mark's favorite network shills. Oh, they're the best.
So, tone goes back down. Of course, Jay and Jimmy Uso come to the ring, and they are just balls of energy. Jay Uso has a match against Big E, but the New Day comes to the ring, and this one's for Francesca.
Xavier and Kofi are still in their suits.
Yes.
And they give a somber tribute, a very Hunger Games-esque tribute to Francesca. But then Xavier Woods' serious claps, his serious, solemn, depressed claps, I think really made this entrance.
Do you see another instrument coming into play in the near future?
Ooh, interesting. I hadn't even thought about that.
It doesn't have to be a trombone,
No.
because that would be too difficult.
Absolutely.
But, I mean, we saw the gong recently. Is that going to come back into play? Are they going to steal Elias Sampson's guitar?
Interesting.
I don't know.
Right. That's a really, really interesting idea. I hadn't thought about that, but I think you might be right. I think I mean, not that New Day needs to be freshened up, but I think if anything were to liven things up and sort of introduce a new dynamic, it would be a brand new instrument for Xavier Woods to play while Kofi and Big E are stomping the hell out of someone in the corner.
Yeah.
I think you might be right.
Maybe he could get like something easier to carry on trips with him, like a piccolo.
Right. Maybe he could break out a kazoo, Edge and Christian style.
Oh, but they ate the kazoo already.
Biggie, he tried. He tried valiantly to eat that kazoo.
Yeah, I don't know if that's going to work. No. Nothing that Biggie can eat.
Nothing that Biggie can eat.
Yeah.
It's got to, yeah, exactly.
Bigger than a burrito from Chipotle.
Right. Hella Chipotle. They're going to get hella Chipotle.
So this match, while Kofi and Xavier are still in mourning, Big E is just so emotional during this match. And what were some of your highlights from it?
I mean, whenever
the tears.
Whenever Big E's in the ring, he's just wrecking people. I mean, the lariat that I guess not necessarily a lariat, but the clothesline that he hit to the back of Jey Uso just reverberated throughout the entire arena. One of my favorite moves. Not only that, I feel like you're about to say something.
I just want to shout out Monsieur Melancholy because he has the best things in chat every single week. And this week, he suggested that Xavier Woods should adopt an accordion.
Nailed it.
Ooh.
Steve Urkel style.
Love it. Love it.
That'll be so good.
You
just need some suspenders and some glasses.
Exactly.
So great.
And then we need a Stefan Urkel transformation.
I mean, that's just basically him with the Gaston hair, right?
Exactly. That's Stefan Urkel. I feel like Kofi might be like Waldo Faldo.
Okay, I can see it.
Maybe that makes Big E Eddie. I think we got a whole Family Matters situation going on.
This is great.
On our hands.
This is really good.
But not only that, we get a lot of. I think we saw a nay from Jey Uso. We definitely saw a dab. We saw him dabbing it up, but it was not enough to pull out the win.
Mm-hmm. And this is something that we talked about last week on the after show is, are Jimmy and Jay trying to be too comedic because they see New Day doing that, or is this something that's genuine to them?
I think it might be genuine to them. I think, and especially even just little things like Jay rocking the grill and rocking a little bit more facial hair than Jimmy does.
I mean, I loved it. That segment between the two of them last week was one of my favorites.
Sure.
I think it's hard to, like... Normally, I don't think I would compare the two,
right?
Just because they're not always in segments together,
right? Yeah, definitely.
But when they are side by side or up against each other, it's hard not to.
Exactly. Yeah. And so I think you might be right. I think they might be trying to sort of not necessarily compete, but sort of be on the same wavelength in terms of bringing some comedy into it.
But if this is a trend that we're seeing with New Day trying something out and realizing that it worked in a very good way, maybe other people on the roster are more likely to, if they have an idea, be like, you know what, I'm going to go for this. I'm going to try it.
And I think that what we're seeing with Becky might even be a consequence of that, just in terms of just being herself and, bringing out her love of puns and her, she's clearly having fun and being herself. And I think that more than just the comedy, I think that the New Day really set a precedent for just being yourself rather than just trying to fit some sort of other predetermined mold.
I mean, they say it's the writer's job to book the matches and give you an outline for what you're supposed to say, but it's your job as a wrestler to get yourself over.
Exactly, yeah. And so I think we're seeing more and more people that are getting better and better at that.
Yeah. Anything else you want to mention from
opening ghastly?
Yeah. The Jey Uso versus Big E match.
Not other than just that I want those marble statues of the New Day that we see in that Royal Rumble match graphic.
Yeah.
This is like the graphic design for this Rumble. I'm not crazy about the logo, but the marble statues of everyone I'm super on board with, especially the New Day.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
It's good.
Yep.
Props to the graphic designers.
Absolutely.
Those
exactly.
looked tremendous.
Whoever carved these statues out of marble.
Is that what they did?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Okay.
They're real, right?
Not computer generated?
No.
Okay.
No, these are real. They're all in the warehouse. Joey Styles can show you where they are.
So we go back to the locker room where Titus O'Neil, Mark Henry, R-Truth are convening.
Yeah,
and
they're talking about the day. They're talking about
Martin Luther King Day, keeping the dream alive, and Adrian Neville.
We see another hand dart in.
He wants to be a part of it. He wants to keep the dream alive as well.
He's the Owen Hart of their Nation of Domination, which is just he's just their buddy.
Yeah.
And they're like, you know what? It's fine. He wants to keep the dream alive too. That's fine.
Everybody has a dream, so
Sure.
let's do it.
We all have dreams.
These four are up against the Ascension, Stardust, and Tyler Breeze. But they also pull out the win. Neville, who wasn't going to be a part of the team originally, pulls out the red arrow, and they all celebrate.
And we have to talk about this.
Okay.
Because this could have been such a cool moment.
Yeah.
Tyler Breeze comes off the middle. Titus catches him. Follow a slam position.
Oh my gosh, I almost forgot about
And
this.
this
I don't want to remember.
It would have been such a cool moment. It was such a cool moment on paper, I'm sure. They probably nailed it tons of times before that. Titus throws him up over his head, intended for Mark Henry to catch him right into a World's Strongest Slam. It does not quite happen that way because Titus is so freakishly strong. He throws Tyler a little too hard.
He launched him.
Poor guy just flies right over Mark's head.
Yeah.
So I was a little bit sad at that. But Mark just picks him up. World's Strongest slams him anyway. Sets up for the red arrow.
Titus forgot about gravity.
All right. Fine.
But yeah, that would have been such a cool moment.
Right.
Two of the strongest men on the roster. Another great match, but we move on to one of the final segments of the evening. Highlight Reel Part 2. Chris Jericho and Paul Heyman are in the ring. Jericho is not relenting with the questions.
No, he's giving him a straight up interview, which I really enjoyed.
I actually really enjoyed it too. It seemed real and pressing, and that's what you would want in this kind of segment.
And like in wrestling, you never really get interviews out of interview segments, and so it was interesting to see him stating something, and then Paul Heyman saying, you know what, I've been in enough depositions.
Yeah.
That wasn't a question. Jericho rephrasing, I mean, it was a really interesting dynamic.
Not dancing around it. Jericho asked Heyman if he didn't want Brock Lesnar in the Royal Rumble because he didn't like his odds of winning, and of course Heyman retorts, this Sunday Brock Lesnar will turn the Royal Rumble into Suplex City, but then Chris Jericho fires back and asks, what if it does come down to Brock Lesnar and Chris Jericho?
Which is...
what if Jericho defeats Lesnar to become the 7-time WWE champion? And I just wanted Paul Heyman to say, but what if there was a plausible storyline?
Right. If we're talking about what ifs, what if Adam Rose with his magic Aladdin carpet wins the Royal Rumble? I think, and before I get to that,
Okay.
I think one interesting thing that we obviously don't need to sing the praises of Paul Heyman anymore, but we're going to. We always do.
It's so good.
He manages to sell everyone on the network while delivering a believable promo about him and his client.
And it's not one of those sales on the network where you're like, oh, another network plug.
Exactly.
It's like, oh, Paul Heyman, let me listen to you.
Exactly. The way he phrases it, he says, if I told you that this Sunday you would see Brock Lesnar versus Alberto Del Rio, you would buy the network. If I told you that it would be Brock Lesnar versus Chris Jericho, you would buy the network. And he rattles off all these names that are ostensibly going to happen in the Royal Rumble match, manages to sell people on the network while putting over himself and the chances of his client winning the Rumble.
And
just genius stuff.
All of that while listening to Jericho and bouncing off of him.
Right.
So
and
it's staying in the moment. But
in the moment, exactly. And so while I did like the intensity of Chris Jericho, and I would love to buy him as a threat, I think in this context, in this current Chris Jericho run, it's not quite as believable. But if, he can't go out there and say, I maybe might win. So I got to give him at least props for showing some good intensity and some good kind of focus and motivation in this promo.
But he did show too much chest. I will say that.
Far too
Again,
much chest.
With the vest.
He moved to the vest and no shirt. Not just the dinner jacket, but the vest and no shirt now.
I mean, can we talk about gimmick infringement, though? Because that is clearly Dale Rutledge's. Vest for business.
Knows what's best for business.
Was Dale's. And Jericho, I'm sorry, but...
I mean, you know what? That may have been Dale's vest.
Yeah.
I'm thinking that Jericho stole it.
I mean, if Jericho at least, one-upped him and had a light-up vest, I could have gotten on board with it. But
Sure.
This was clearly just like a ripoff of Dale.
Bad form.
Yeah.
You would
Bush
figure
League.
he would know the definition of a three-piece suit wasn't one that you wear in three pieces.
Throughout the course of the evening. Mark,
Exactly.
I love you.
Exactly.
This is why we're
He
friends.
just broke up one of those outfits back from his best in the world days and just wore them segmented along the course of the night.
That's how you
Podcast
get
world
the
don't pay
most
too
out of
much. That's
outfits.
why he's doing Raw again.
Exactly. That's exactly right.
Yeah. So this whole segment just ends in a showdown in the ring.
Right. We get Brock Lesnar coming out.
Brock Lesnar comes out.
Before he gets to even do his box jump up to the apron,
Reigns
we get Roman Reigns.
spears him. The second he gets in the ring,
Mm-hmm.
the League of Nations all run in, and there are suplexes and spears and suplexes and
The
spears
German
and F5s.
I like
more
thinking
spears.
of I like thinking of the plural of suplex as suplexes with like a C.
Supply.
The way that there you go. The way that like indices is the plural of index.
Suplices.
Suplices. There you go. Exactly. But oh my God, the German suplex that he hit on Alberto Del Rio. I love when it's a schmoz involving Brock Lesnar because it looks like he's genuinely fighting to get these moves, and the person does not want to take them.
I think he is
which is
genuinely
fair.
fighting.
It's
They're
fair.
like, yeah, I don't want to die today, so I'm
Right.
gonna fight this move that
He
Brock Lesnar's gonna do.
finally
on me.
gets that rear waist lock on Del Rio and just drops him right on his head. F5 Sheamus.
Yeah.
I mean, we get a lot of good stuff, but then something we're not expecting.
predicting.
Nope.
Wyatt's music hits. I put a question mark behind this because I was not sure what was going on at the time.
Right.
I was like, oh, here's some more people for Brock Lesnar to suplex and F5. But that is not what happens.
No.
The Wyatt family makes their way to the ring. Braun Strowman, of course, looking super strong in this segment.
Sure.
But it all culminates in a Sister Abigail from Brie to Brock Lesnar.
And we get I love the idea of it taking these four horsemen of the apocalypse to take down the beast. You know, the symbolism is running rampant. I think we saw a discus lariat, we saw the spinning back kick from Rowan, we saw a clothesline from Strowman, and then like you were saying, even while we were watching it, we thought that was all setting up to Brock reversing out of the Sister Abigail.
I mean, this is how I've been wanting the Wyatt family to be booked for the last year and a half.
Exactly.
Like, it's something that I think we've all been begging for, and this is the strongest, I want to say, that they've ever looked since they debuted.
That might be right. And I think it's these moments that really make them just believable as a force. You know,
Yeah.
I think it's always one of the most exciting moments of Raw when we see the Wyatt family across the ring from someone that we've never seen them facing before.
Yeah.
That happened even when they were across the ring from the League of Nations. And while that led into something kind of silly and ridiculous, I think this time was something really, really potent and really captivating.
Yeah. Definitely unexpected.
And it created, in just a matter of minutes, it created a whole new believable contender.
Buzz. Like, if you guys thought that Raw didn't give much storyline leading up to the Royal Rumble, that it wasn't a go-home Raw, because I saw a lot of those tweets, I really feel like there were multiple segments that stood out to me, but this is what
Right.
changed
And
it all.
I think it's a running joke that the go home Raw before the Royal Rumble always has to end with the whole roster being in the ring and setting up as a preview.
It gets you excited.
But I feel like in this case it was earned.
Yeah.
I think in this case everyone had a reason to be in the Rumble and everyone had a reason to posit their chances of winning. That being said, the only issue I've taken really over the whole night is that the video package tries to sell us on this thing that because the title is on the line, that everyone's going to be gunning for Roman Reigns. But that's not the case.
No.
It's not the case. It's not like
he
if
doesn't
you-
have a leg up on anyone.
Yeah, it's not like if you eliminate Roman Reigns, you get the title. Your strategy should still be the same as it always is in the
I think
Rumble.
the reason why they're going for Roman Reigns is because he's proven that he is the hardest to defeat
Sure.
on that roster,
Sure.
in that 30 people.
And I think that would be the case even if the title wasn't on the line.
True.
So, but that's just obviously nitpicking because we got a really, really strong ending leading into one of my favorite, and probably my second favorite pay-per-view of the entire year. So I'm super pumped.
I mean, we also don't know if the Authority was saying to people, hey, if you eliminate Roman, we'll give you a little bit of bonus.
Right,
That could have happened
I mean,
backstage.
maybe we should have seen some of that. Yeah, maybe we should see them putting even more of a target on Roman's
There's
back.
still time to do that on SmackDown.
Sure,
Still
sure.
have one more day of matches and segments.
Right.
So, overall, I'm really excited going into Royal Rumble.
Me too. I think I was talking about it with a buddy of mine that this is the most excited I've been for a Rumble and a pay-per-view in a long time.
I said most anticipated Rumble that I think I've ever watched, and a lot of people at home
very true.
Feel
very
the same
true.
way.
Do we know who we think might take the Rumble or the championship?
I don't want to predict yet. I want to watch SmackDown. This is awesome. I want to watch SmackDown.
Right.
To predict what is going to happen in the Royal Rumble.
Right. But since we won't be here after Buzz until after the Rumble, let's throw out some predictions. What do you think?
I don't think we have time because we were told to wrap 5 minutes ago.
Oh, come on.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry. We'll do it on Twitter. Thank you guys so much for watching us. Go over to iTunes if you can. Just type in AfterBuzz TV, rate our Raw after show, give us 5 stars, leave us a comment in what we can improve here. If you like the show, leave us a comment saying that. It really helps us grow, helps us get more interviews at the network, and more just possibilities as far as the show goes.
Sure.
So do that. Really help us out.
Yep.
And in the meantime, if you want our predictions, you can find us on Twitter. Where can they find you, Ty Matthews?
You can find me on Twitter, on Instagram at Ty Matthews PMA, and I'm all over this network now.
I know.
I'm taking
I saw
over.
you, like last week, you were here every freaking day.
4 nights in a row. I'm on. You can catch me on Pitch Slapped on Tuesdays, Second Chance on Wednesdays, The Magicians on Monday, starting next week. I'm just all over. So follow me on social media, and let's talk about the Rumble and other things. I like other things.
We could talk about NXT and cupcakes if you follow me on Twitter.
I love both of those things.
At Catherine Kelley. You can also follow me on Instagram at Cathy Kelley. Check out my interview with Nikki and Brie Bella. That was a lot of fun to do. And as always, find me here for the NXT after show and the Bachelor after show coming up later tonight.
And one last plug. Make sure to watch Championship Wrestling from Hollywood.
Do it!
Saturdays, 4 p.m., KDOC, U2 America.
Some big announcements coming up, too.
We're in San Francisco now. We're in New York now. We're all over the place.
Taking over.
So watch us, guys. Watch Championship Wrestling from Hollywood. Come out to the tapings. Our next tapings are next Sunday, the 24th. You can go to our tapings, watch a free live wrestling show, and then watch the Royal Rumble right afterwards. Day full of wrestling.
Yes.
Ocean View Pavilion, Port Winnie, 3 p.m., free.
Great plug. Thank you guys again for watching, and we will see you all again next Monday for Raw AfterBuzz.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.